The 2012 QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup moves to a new venue, Chateaubriant in France. A venue that it's been played out on several occasions before, very successfully so. And once again, the players will be playing on the QubicaAMF Bowling Promotion Cup oil pattern, which has proved very tricky so far. We will see how things go now that we've moved on to the doubles. So, time to get things underway. Cass Edwards alongside me in the commentary booth. And Cass, the doubles, how is it all decided in terms of who teams with who?
Well, it's quite simple, Simon. The guys have all bowled 4 games of qualifying singles. They've taken their seeded positions, and seed 1 and seed 8 will double up. Consequently, seed 2 and 7 will feature together as a doubles pair, and so on and so forth. So our first match is seed 6 and 3, which is Bruno Bidone and Sergey Andrea, starting up in frame number 3 already. And they're taking on seeds 4 and 5, which is Phil Hulst and Peter Knop from Germany.
From Monaco gets things underway and hooks it right up into the Brooklyn pocket, but doesn't make the strike.
Yeah, freshly dressed oil. It's a different bowling centre. We're in Chateau. Quite a large crowd here as well. But it's the same oiling pattern, and it's freshly dressed, so it's 40 feet long. So the last 20 feet are particularly dry parts of the lane at the moment, and that's why Bruno's ball hook left on a 5-pin standing right in the middle of the lane, which he spares, which he should spare. Gives a high five to teammate Sergey Andrea.
Yes, when the Promotion Cup came here a couple of years back, when Michael Hogan Jr. was bowling, it really was sparsely attended, but it just goes to show you know, you develop these tournaments over time, you bring them back to the same centres at roughly the same time of the year, and then people start to look for those tournaments and wonder when it's coming up, and next thing you know, you've got yourself a crowd. But it takes time. Phil Hulst then, already the singles champion, and again with a little bit of a problem on the approach. He's quite aggressive, isn't he, at the line, and there's a big body movement as well, and it's, if your foot sticks, you're going to know about it.
Yes, and that's exactly what happened there. Consequently, his arm went to the right, the ball went to the right, and he's left the 1-2-8-10, which is a pretty tricky spare. He can jump that head pin across to take the 10-pin out. I'm sure some of these young spectators will think that's trick bowling, but it is a makeable spare, and I'm sure Phil's going to be going for it.
Right, this to impress the crowd then.
Oh, and to impress the commentators, no doubt.
Absolutely.
He's got that shot.
Nearly.
Yeah, couldn't quite go left far enough. So that's an open frame for the Hulst, Knop, the Netherlands and the German team.
That's a good pairing.
Absolutely. On paper, it's a good pairing.
Yeah. I mean, Peter will be the first to tell you he didn't deliver in his singles match, but he's certainly more than capable of bowling with the world's best. Senior now.
And of course, and I don't think we've mentioned it, it's Baker doubles, so it's 1 frame either frame for each bowler, so each bowler will only bowl 5 frames. 10-frame game, 2 bowlers, 5 each. And Peter Knop has got, well, one of the most fortunate strikes I've seen in quite a while.
Yes, an ironic celebration, I think they call that.
I wasn't actually sure that he actually hit the head pin, but they did all go down. Oh.
Now on go the spectacles.
They're a different pair, surely.
Sergey Andrea.
Oh no, it's the line.
No, yes, they look similar. Looks like Geordie LaForge on Star Trek: The Next Generation, I think it was, or something like that.
Great looking shot, and it's a high five with local promoter Bruno Bodoni, the man that's set this whole tournament up over the last 2 or 3 years. Looking to try and sort the pattern out on this lane. It's not easy. But a perfect looking shot, and down on one knee. This looks fantastic, doesn't it? This really is a good looking shot, right in the 1-3. Bruno runs the ball out, runs himself out. And high fives. Popular man here in his town. There's a lot of promotional work.
So Phil Hulst next up, just a little hold while a technical problem is sorted out. Between he and Peter Cannot, they should be able to come through this one.
Maybe they've got some sort of problem with one of the pins down the lane. And Phil is eventually ready to go. Looking for a strike to make the first double for the team. Ooh, and it just hurries on a bit long, doesn't it? Got to the break point and didn't want to break. It just went straight on. Leaves the 2-pin and the 8-pin, which is 1 pin in front. We call it a sleeper. It's 1 pin right in front of the other. And whatever you do, you have to make sure the ball's going to cover that back pin.
Yes, in the singles form that we saw from this man in Vitre. Oh, it's all going wrong. It's all falling off.
That's that Phil Hulst for you.
It's too powerful. That's what it is. But yeah, the singles form that Phil had in Vitre, I'm afraid, has deserted him here in Chateaubriant at the moment.
Well, different centres have different characteristics, as all bowling lanes do. You can never go from one centre to the other and expect to bowl in exactly the same way. And that is a pretty good looking spare from Phil. In the 5th frame, we're halfway through. And Bruno Bidone and Sergey Andrea are just in the lead. Peter Knopf's got to do something about it. Gone through the halfway stage.
Oh dear.
Well, I think I heard somebody saying hook, hook. Well, not in a million years was that one going to hook, and it didn't. And Peter looks totally frustrated. I mean, this is a man that's got... he's a good calibre of bowler. He's been around, he's won tournaments throughout Europe, he's played in the States, now on the seniors tour, and he's just having a bit of problem here with the ball reaction on this pair of lanes. It's, left the 1-2-8, and oh, he can't even spare that one. So that's another open frame for Phil and Peter. That's the second one, and they haven't even made 100.
Chances then for Bruno and Sergey. Must be a massive scout for these two if they could pull this one off.
Well, absolutely, yeah. They're working on 2 strikes. Sergey's looking for a 3rd. And we know what 3 strikes mean, don't we? At this time of year?
Absolutely, means you're a good bowler.
Oh, right. Okay.
No, means turkey, as it's known. They've all got their nicknames. Well, they've got nicknames up to a certain extent, and then it just becomes a 7-bagger, 8-bagger, 9-bagger, but you've got your 6-pack, and you've got your turkey.
I just thought at this time of year, you could have said 3 French hens.
Oh, I should have.
Just thought I'd slide that one in.
If only.
If only, yeah.
Now, Bruno, keep it together here, because you've got a golden opportunity to advance 1 round in your own tournament.
Oops.
Yeah, I'm afraid he almost brushed that one onto the lane, and that's gone sideways off his hand, and so it was never going to make any sort of pocket at the other end.
Simon, you actually saw it, and it was not a very good shot from Bruno, I'm afraid, and you realise that. I mean, he's got 5 pins standing up. He's got the 1, 3, 6, 8 and the 10. Pretty difficult to spare. It is makeable, but to leave it after 3 strikes in a row, you've lost a lot of pins with that 5 count. And that was just all to do with the wrist breaking as the ball came through. Bottom of the swing, everything went left.
Oh, well done. Well done.
And there is nobody more pleased than Bruno to spare that one. I didn't actually think he was going to make it, but took some of the rotation off the ball, threw it straighter, and it was a great conversion.
Huge sigh of relief from Bruno Bidone, but
actually, sorry to interrupt, somebody. It was a huge sigh of relief from Sergey Andrea.
Oh yes, as well. Now then, the team we've been building up from the start is, well, in modern parlance, having a nightmare.
Yes. Can it continue? We hope not.
So Phil Hulst and Peter Knop trying to get things back together. Hulst charged with that responsibility. Oh, where's this one going?
Oh, gosh, look, it's just gone out and out and out. It's never going to come back from there. He's just made the head pin, I think. He's left the 2-4 and the 8-10 standing.
They've got to pull it together, Castle. They're heading for a very embarrassing score here.
Yes, they're going to struggle for 150 unless they start putting a few scores on the doors. Really has got to get this one.
No, well, good try.
Gave it a try, but anything with the 2-8-10 in it is pretty much impossible. So it becomes their third open frame out of 7. They've got 2 strikes. And they're struggling. They've just gone exactly on 100 in the 7th.
Talking to it again, and somehow they go down.
I'm not quite sure how many pins that ball hit, but it certainly wasn't 4. A chain reaction in the back end. Quite considerable expertise to take a strike from Peter Knop. Just when you think or thought it wasn't going to happen.
Bit of showmanship from the German after that one as well, but Sergey Andrea has just gone about his business very quietly, very calmly. He's bowled really well, actually, this year so far. Unlucky in the singles, and just tee him up for the commentator's curse there, but that was down to just sending it out too wide on that oil pattern, and he just couldn't get back.
There is obviously quite a bit of oil to the right-hand side or the outside of the lane, and the bowlers haven't been out there for a while. And of course, as soon as the ball sails out there, whether it be by intention or default, it just doesn't make it back. It gets hooked up in that line, and it just aquaplanes through. And there's no reaction. So even Sergey's having open frames. Oh dear. Yes. Their first open frame.
Still a 50-pin lead, though.
Which is good enough, yes. I mean, they can strike out for 210, 220. Can Bruno set up? It's frame number 9. Had that massive 5 spare on his last shot. One hopes for better things.
Yes, well, got the strike. The yes was for the strike, not for the pocket that he went in at.
He got 10 for the ball and 0 for the shot, and he looks pretty disgusted. That really was a pretty awful shot. Dear, dear. But it's carried 10, and he's telling Sergey exactly how he went about it. He's set up the 9th frame with a strike. Phil Hulst looking to make a double for him and Peter. Oh, and there you see that it's wide outside again. And there is the 2, the 8 and the 10. The 3 pins I spoke about not so long ago. The almost impossible split. It's always left. And you just make the head pin and just touch it. Everything goes left. Except the 2 and the 8. And just to rub salt in the wounds, the 10 pin stands as well, which makes it pretty impossible spare.
They are having a stinker. Bit of anger in that spare ball from Phil.
Well, frustration, I think, more than anything. And they're 128 in the 9th frame, which is an open. So they can make 158 if Peter can strike out here.
It's not happening. It's not happening. I tell you what, if you're going to do this, do it on TV, eh? What about that?
Yeah, they're going to a spare here for 148 if he can spare and strike. Talk about having a nightmare, and we're not even on Elm Street. And that's gone left as well, so it's a 9 miss in the 10th frame, and it's a massive 137, and I'm sure they're going to put their equipment away and just go and sit in the lounge for a little while.
You should have phoned them up before announcing that score. I think you'd have got a few euros offered not to say it.
I think you're right, yeah. There is a whisper in the grapevine that Bruno's going to sit the next one out and invite you to play.
I'm up for it.
Absolutely.
I don't think Sergey would be there. Bruno's too good. So Bruno and Sergey on their way through to the next round.
Yeah, they're actually going to make 200 here.
That's fine. That's a solid score on a tricky oil pattern and playing an unusual format of the game, this Baker doubles. Down it goes.
Trips the 4-pin, 2 strikes through. Yeah, almost 220 if he can strike again. But you're quite right, it is a tricky lane condition. They didn't have too much time to practice on this particular lane condition, and when you're going cold like that, it's a seek and search type episode to find out exactly what the ball is doing on the lane, and you don't really have an awful lot of time when you're only bowling 5 frames. So it's a 219, and Bruno and Sergey will go through to the next round.
Well done, Bruno, still in it.